welcome to my studio. This is Joan-Marie Domino. I absolutely love to decoupage. Well, I love to craft too. If you've never tried decoupage or you've seen it and you want to give it a try, then boy, you have come to the right place. I have lots of videos, lots of tutorials, and you know what? I take you step by step so you're going to have success with the projects that you do. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share with your friends, and don't forget to hit the little bell for notifications. Several months ago, I had a DIY project tutorial where I showed you how you can take an ordinary napkin and decoupage it onto a little canvas bag. And wow, you guys really loved it. And you know why? I showed you how to do it to make it durable. If you followed step by step, these were very usable. So now, since it was so popular, I decided, look, I'm going to expand on it and I'm going to do a bigger canvas bag. Now, I don't know about where you live, but where I live, we cannot use plastic bags when we go shopping anymore. So we have to bring our own. I thought, wow, since I have to bring my own, why don't I just custom make it with a napkin or design that I like? Then I thought, you know what? It would make a great gift for family and friends because we're all taking canvas bags to the store now. So you don't have to be afraid to put groceries inside this. It's going to last. To start, iron the bag to make sure you get out most of the wrinkles. Also, I'm going to be using this bag natural. I will not be painting it at all. The next step is to put a piece of cardstock inside the bag. In this case, I'm just using a piece of an old file folder, but I'm really not concerned about the glue going through because this canvas is actually very thick. We have to do a little bit of prep work. I'm going to say a little bit of measuring before we get started with putting the glue on. So you want to pick out the napkin that you want to use. Now this part is very important. You need to be able to block out where the glue is going to go. And I did that with a piece of cardstock here. Now, the only thing is this piece of cardstock should be at least as big, if not bigger than the napkin you are going to use because we're only going to put the glue down where the napkin is. So these napkins, they may look like they're all the same size, but believe me, they're not. What's that saying go? Measure twice. Yes, measure your napkin, cut the cardstock, I'm going to say an 1/8 to 1/4 inch bigger all the way around, and you're going to have a much easier time with this project. Does it seem like I'm being a little bit picky? Yeah, I am, but you know why? I want you to be able to use this and take it to the store. Also, I want you to be able to give this as a gift. Now that I have my piece of cardstock cut, and it's cut to, remember, a little bit bigger than the napkin was, I'm ready to put tape around it. I'm doing that to create a frame. So on the back of the cardstock, this is just painter's tape, and I rolled it, kind of old school, so that it would stick down. And I'm going to place it down exactly, kind of where I want it. And these bags are not perfect, so don't worry about it if the napkin is a little bit crooked. So just press it down really nicely, and then we're going to be able to put tape all the way around it. Okay, on to the next step. This is painter's tape. The nice thing about painter's tape is you can put it down on things. In this case, I'm putting it down on the canvas bag, and it's going to adhere really well. But when I go to remove this, the tape is going to come right off, no problem, and no sticky residue. And that's what we want. We want to have a nice clean line where we're putting the glue, but we certainly don't want any residue on there. And if you're wondering why I'm taping it off like this, it's because I don't want to put glue all over the bag. I just want it to be where I'm putting the napkin. Now I'm going to remove that piece of cardstock, and it's coming off really easily. Why? Because I used the painter's tape on the back as well, and there is no residue. Next thing you want to do is you just want to smooth down the tape really well. Make sure that there's no spots sticking up or any wrinkles. You want it to be nice and flat. Now that our tape is down, we're ready to add our decoupage glue. Now I'm using a decoupage glue, Mod Podge glue, but I'm using their fabric formula. Their fabric formula works best fabric to fabric, napkin to fabric. I highly recommend it. I tried the other formulas. This one absolutely works the best. Now I want to talk about the brush I'm going to be using. This is like a bristle brush. I think it's actually used for stencils. I like it when I'm doing canvas because it gets into all the little fibers and grooves. It's not like paper and cardstock, so you really need something that's going to really get the glue in there. So I'm going to put my brush into the Mod Podge, and I want to show you this glue. It's thicker than the other formulas, but that's okay. That's what you want. Do not add water to this. You want to use it right out of the bottle. So I'm going to start putting the glue on, and I'm kind of pressing down with the brush because, again, I want to get into all of those fibers, and also being careful to go all the way around. I'm going up to the tape, which is what I want to do because I have it blocked off, and I'm not going to be going over the tape because now I'm going to have the glue exactly where I want it. All right, I'm just about done now, so I'm going to let it dry because after it's dry, I'm going to put on coat number 2. Okay, the first coat is dry, and now we're ready to put on the top coat. And I'm going to do it the same way. There's my bristle brush, and I'm using my fabric Mod Podge, and I'm going in for coat number 2. I like 2 coats because then I'm sure that the entire surface is covered, and that's very important when we're doing any kind of decoupage. Just make sure you cover the entire bag. I'm just about done with coat number 2, and just like coat number 1, I'm going to put this off to dry. All right, we're going to let the bag dry, and now I'm going to go through some napkins with you. I get my napkins from Vippy's Designs, and I'm telling you, this is probably one of the funnest parts of any decoupage project is to go through your napkins. Now, I like lemons. Those would probably be some of the ones I would choose for myself, but I think this would make a great gift. I mean, people like going to the farmer's market and to the grocery store. So think, what is my sister like? What is my neighbor like? What do my friends, somebody I work with? These are all things you can think about when you're picking out your napkins to put onto your bag. Now, as far as this bag is concerned, I did ultimately choose this napkin. I absolutely love it with the lemons, the yellow, and that blue border. It's just so pretty. I really liked it, and I think maybe I'm going to keep this one. The one hint I want to give you before you put the napkin on is to iron the napkin. This one is a little different than other ones that we did, so just want to make sure the napkin is nice and flat. All right, the glue is all dry, and maybe you're wondering, well, why is the glue dry? Aren't I supposed to put the napkin on when it's wet? I guess, did I forget to tell you, we're going to be using the iron-on method. That's why the glue has to be dry. Now, a lot of you ask me about the iron I use. Like, what's that little iron you use? This is a Cricut iron. It has 3 different heat settings. I'm going to show you. And when it's orange, it means that it's not ready yet. When it turns green, it's going to be ready. Now, I love this iron. I've been using it for a couple of years. It has this really cute little tray that you can rest it in, which makes it safe. And what happened was my sister saw me doing a lot of the iron-on method with my household iron. So she gave this to me for Christmas because it's safer. It's meant for crafting. Now, if you think you want this iron, I do have the link below. If you purchase through that link, I do make a small commission. It's not a lot, but every little bit helps. I want to thank those of you who have been using my links. Now I'm going to place the napkin inside the tape. I'm leaving the tape there because it makes it a lot easier to place the napkin. If you take that tape off, you can't really see where the glue is, especially because of the color of that bag. It makes it very difficult to find the glue. So that's one big tip I'm going to give you. That's why you want to definitely leave that tape there as you place your napkin down. You just want to get it in the best spot as you can. And look, my iron turned green, so it's ready to be used. But we're not quite ready yet. Love that Cricut. All right, so now I'm smoothing it, and the glue is a little bit sticky, so that napkin's going to stay in place. Now I want art and with art to zoom in here so that you can see that yes, I do have a little bit of a glue edge because you really need it to be a little bit bigger than the napkin. So make sure when you cut that cardstock, it's a little bit bigger than the napkin. I know I sound like a broken record, right? Going on and on. But you know what? I make the mistakes and then I show you how to do it so that you don't make the mistakes and you're going to have a very successful project. All right, now that our iron is ready, we can start to do the iron on method. And the first thing I'm going to do before I put the iron onto this is to put down a piece of baking parchment. Baking parchment is going to protect the napkin and it's going to protect the iron. That's very, very important. Okay, now there is tape all the way around the edge. I don't want you to go over the tape. I want you to stay just on the napkin. And if you don't go all the way to the edge of the napkin, that's okay. For right now, I want you to start from the center and then go off towards the edge, just like I'm doing there. So what's happening? The glue is melting and the napkin is adhering perfectly to the canvas bag. And before I forget, we only use the top printed ply of the napkin. And I just want to remind you that as you iron it, you just want to stay away from the tape because I think if you got the iron onto the tape may adhere. So we want to just keep away from that because we're going to fix the edges. Love this iron once we do remove the tape. I'm going to remove the parchment paper now. I'm going to take a look at it. It looks very, very nice. We have to fix the edges though because we have to remove the tape in order to do that. So I'm going to take that painter's tape off and as you can see, it comes off very, very easily. Get it all off, no residue, and now we are ready to finish doing the edges. So I'm just going to put my parchment paper back on top and I'm going to iron all over it again. And this time I'm really going to pay attention to all of the edges. Are you following along? You know, I worked on this project for I'm going to say about a year, and these steps that I'm giving you absolutely work the best. That's why I tell you, don't skip any steps. Just follow along with me and you're going to have a fabulous project. Okay, so I'm taking off the parchment paper and I'm going to take a look at it. And of course, I'm going to check all of my edges. And so far, it looks really good to me. I love how this came out. I'm going to let that cool. Now that my beautiful lemon bag is nice and cool, I'm going to be putting a top coat of the fabric Mod Podge right on top of the napkin. And if you're wondering why I'm doing it, this is the thing. If you want to use these bags, like I use mine to go to the store, you need them to be durable. So this is definitely a step you don't want to skip. Put a top coat of Mod Podge. It's going to keep these bags nice and flexible and you can take them to the store with you. And that's what's really nice about these bags. They're not just decorative, they're usable. Once I'm done with my top coat of Mod Podge, I'm going to put it off to dry. Now that the glue is dry, I'm going to take my Cricut iron and I'm going to iron it again. I'm going to start by putting the piece of parchment on top and then I'm just going to set the glue. This is probably just a little extra insurance that these bags are going to hold up when I start putting groceries inside. Of course, you can use these for other things. I was thinking the farmer's market would be so nice to walk around with something so pretty. All right, I think I've ironed it enough and it is well adhered. I am going to take some of those back plies and just rub it down. Okay, let's take off the parchment paper and have a look. Oh, it's so pretty. It's still a little bit warm. I think you would never be able to tell that this is actually done with a napkin. All right, the next step is to put on a coat of Duraclear matte varnish. I take my Duraclear and I always put it into smaller containers and I put in just what I'm going to use for a project. Just helps it to last longer. So I'm using a nice soft brush and I'm going to go right over the entire napkin. It's nice and thin and you're only going to need to do one coat. One of the questions I get asked a lot in comments is, what is my favorite sealant? And I would say Duraclear is definitely one of my favorites. You'll see me use it a lot in projects. Okay, I'm finishing this up, and you know what? Now it's time to move on to my very special bonus project. For my bonus project, I'm going to be using the same canvas totes that I used with the other lemon napkin. However, this time we're going to do something smaller like this. This size I'm using is actually 1/4 of a lunch size napkin. We're going to be following along basically the same steps as the lemon bag. And so I have a piece of cardstock, I cut to size, and then I put tape all the way around the cardstock just like that. I've removed the cardstock and now we're going to do the same thing. I'm using the Mod Podge fabric formula. That's the one that works best. And I'm going to put the Mod Podge the same way. It's going to be inside the painter's tape and we're going to be doing 2 coats. You do first coat, let it dry, then we put coat number 2 and let that dry. So I've taken care of those steps, the Mod Podge is dry, and now we're ready to pick out a napkin. So here's a pile of napkins I got from Vippy's Designs. And I want to show you some of the things I chose that I wanted to do, like the turtle. And then the farmer's market, I kind of got farmer's market on the brain now, so I'm looking for my farm animals, and we have some cows and a rooster. But then I'm like, well, what about a beach bag? You know, we have our sunscreen we need, and these are cute. Those are little seagulls. That's definitely perfect for a beach bag. And we need something to carry our picnic supplies in as well. And of course, florals. You can never go wrong with florals. And if you're looking for something more manly, how about a sailboat? And here's some more cute farm animals. You want to do one for a little girl? How about a cute little mermaid like that? And there's just so many napkins to choose from. But you know, you have to narrow it down. All right, so I decided not the sheep and not the rooster, maybe the cow. I had to ask Art. Art said, take the cow with the planks. He really liked that one. All right, let's put the cow down. And I actually think I'm going to have to trim the cow a little bit smaller than the size of the panel. Why? Because I didn't measure. See, I tell you to do it and then I don't do it. But that's okay. This is an easy fix. I'm just going to follow along the folds there and just go a little bit smaller all the way around. And I love this napkin. I think Art has really good taste. All right, and once I have it cut apart, let's take a look. Okay, so I trimmed enough and it's going to fit really nicely. All right, now we have to remove the top printed layer. With decoupage, we only use the top layer. That's the layer that's printed. So I'm putting a little bit of Mod Podge between my fingers. I'm going to go up there in the corner, press my fingers together, and I'm going to pull that top layer right off. I'm going to take the top ply of the napkin of this cute little cow, and I'm going to fit it right inside the center the best I can where the glue is on the bag. And remember, that glue is still a little bit sticky, so it'll stay down pretty well while you're getting ready to iron it. And this is my piece of parchment again, and here's my little Cricut iron, and look, it's green. You know what that means? It's ready to go. So I'm going to put the parchment paper on top, and I'm going to take the iron, and I'm only going to stay in the middle. We're going to come back in and do the edges. I just want to make sure it's well adhered before we go ahead and do that, and that the napkin hasn't moved. Let's take a look. Okay, that looks really nice, and we can take that tape off now, and then we're going to finish up the edges. Now that the tape is off, we're ready to finish up the edges. Because remember, we didn't go as far as the edges because the tape was there. So I'm just going to put my piece of parchment down. And now I'm going to pay attention to those edges. This is just to make sure that the napkin is well adhered, top to bottom and side to side. Okay, so I'm going to take off the parchment paper and have a look at the edges. And they look perfect. This napkin is well adhered. This cow, it's so cute. Now, if you're a beginner, I'm going to suggest that instead of doing the big napkin I did here, to start with just a quarter panel. This is a little bit easier. I always get asked in comments and in messages, what are the products I use to make that particular project? And in this one, I use the fabric Mod Podge right over here. It's got the blue label. I use the Duraclear sealant. It's one of my favorites. Of course, my Cricut iron. Everybody knows that by now. And I love my angle brushes. I have all the links for all of these items below if you would like to purchase them. Both my bags are done. That's with the larger napkin. I put a little bow. And Whatever I did on that bag, I did exactly the same with the cow bag. Remember, you can start with the cow bag first because it is a little bit easier, and then you can work your way up to doing something larger. But the steps, they're the same. Don't you love this bag? It came out so cute, and I added a little bow. The nice thing about these, you followed me step by step. These are going to be usable. You can put your things in there. Look, nothing is going to happen to the bag. I love it. I made a bunch of these. All right, I got some questions after I did a little cosmetic bag, and it was, can you do the other side? Yes, you can do both sides. I'm going to give you a little tip. I'm going to show you the one I have here. See, there's the little sheep, and there's the lemon side. All right, sheep and lemon side. Okay, what you want to do is to take a piece of baking parchment, and you want to put that underneath the bag when you're doing the other side, okay? The side underneath, the first side, that's going to warm up. It's going to get a little bit sticky. So you want to make sure that the bag is not going to get ruined or stick to anything. All right, another question I get asked is, are these washable? Yes, they are washable. You have to put them gentle cycle. You want cold water, no dryer. Take it out of the wash machine, put it on a towel, and smooth it out with your hands. But I'm also going to tell you, always follow along the instructions on the container of the glue because Plaid knows best. I love making these bags using my little Cricut iron. And again, the fabric Mod Podge works the best, especially on these heavy canvas bags, and they're very usable. I made like a ton of these. All right. I want to thank Art. I never thank Art enough, but he joins me for almost all of the videos that I do, even the ones I do at my crafting table. And I premiere all of my videos now, which means I'm there live in comments. And you know what? Art joins me. So you can ask me questions. You can say hi to Art. So I always make an announcement. Sometimes the videos come up pretty quick. So you want to make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, give me a thumbs up, hit the little bell so you'll get notifications, share with your friends. And I also have 2 Facebook pages. I have my group page that you can follow along with or you can join. And I have my regular artist page where you can like and follow and see all of the newest things that I'm doing. Also, Vippies has a Facebook page. You can also go to their website, www.vippies.com. They have tons and tons of things that you can look at. Now, any questions you have, make sure you put it down there in comments and I will try my best to help you. I want to thank you so much, and I'm going to see you really soon with another project or a napkin haul.